Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Unfiltered Artist Podcast. I have a very special guest on today, Miss Hannah Dorion.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hello. So Hannah has actually assisted me with several weddings in the past. We had Mallory on the last couple of episodes of the podcast, and in a way, I guess that you're kind of the new Mallory, but you guys do work completely differently, though, but we get along the same. I mean, each of these girls that I've worked with, we have a very, very special bond, and I just couldn't ask for anything greater.
Well, I'm just so happy. It's been like the past couple of years of like getting to work with you, and it's just been so much fun, and like making makeup artist friends. Like, it's always the best.
I know. Connecting in your community is the best.
Absolutely. Especially because around here, I feel like it's growing, but it's been like so small for such a long time that now it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like,
Yeah,
finally,
sure.
like getting out there and meeting other like fellow artists.
Before I digress too heavily, which definitely happens in the podcast, I will admit, my ADD brain just goes off and we go in all different types of ways on this podcast.
And we don't help each other at all with this.
We don't.
No.
Hannah and I are the worst.
Our goodbyes are like truly Midwestern goodbyes.
It's like, okay, bye, I gotta leave. And then an hour later, we're still standing in the same dang parking lot.
Taking selfies with Bigfoot, no big deal.
That was our last one.
Sorry, I had to throw it in there.
Yeah, for sure. This one wedding that we worked, it was actually just last weekend. We worked a wedding, and there's a random Bigfoot statue that this venue had carved from the trunk of a tree, and it's very
huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's very cool looking, but neither of us have noticed it before. And Hannah goes, is that new? I'm like, I feel like that has to be new because we're not that oblivious.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been perfectly placed like behind like trees or cars or something, but I feel like we would have noticed the like, what, 15-foot tall Bigfoot?
No, I know, because it was right in the entrance of one of the driveways. Like, we had to have noticed it.
Yeah.
It's so tall.
Yeah, and holding like the name of the venue on the sign. I'm like, this is like really part of the wedding venue experience now.
It is, for sure. Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm going to digress really quickly because I just do need to point out that Hannah also turned me on to a really great Starbucks order today.
Yay.
I'm on the hunt for the ultimate Starbucks drinks, so if anybody has any drink selections that they would like to share with me, that would be great.
Oh, yeah.
But okay, so tell me what it is because I know that this is a really long name.
And the label doesn't do you any favors.
No, it's just like all abbreviated.
Oh, yeah. It's just a bunch of like letters. So it is a iced shaken espresso, but it's like brown sugar and oat milk. And I was telling her that next time she needs to get it with white chocolate mocha sauce in there because it is just like chef's kiss. It's so delicious. And it gets you completely, caffeinated for your day since, shaken espresso and all. Terrible before a wedding if you want to not have like shaky hands. So I don't advise that, but,
But hey, if you're doing a casual podcast for the day,
then you can have shaky hands holding the mic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But thank you for turning me on to this drink, though. I'm excited to hopefully try it with that white chocolate mocha syrup. Is it syrup that they put in there to do that?
Think so.
I don't know. I've never been a barista, so I don't know. Okay, let's get on to the actual topic here. I told you guys, Hannah and I can literally just go on forever. I mean, we could probably have a conversation for a solid day and not even blink an eye.
Easily. And not overlap topics either. We would be getting into new things the whole time.
That's the true story right there.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's us creative types. We're just all over the map.
Yes, our brains are crazy. Well, anyways, speaking of crazy brains, okay, so Hannah.
Yes.
Let's get on to your background as a makeup artist because I know that you got a very different start from me and you also are in kind of in a different niche that I am too, which is why I wanted to bring you on the podcast.
Absolutely, yeah. So, well, I guess how far back do we want to go? Like,
I mean, not from birth, but if you...
Right.
No, I guess just whenever you feel like you wanted to choose makeup artistry as a career or how that came into your life, somewhere around then.
Okay. All right. Well, a little bit of backstory about me, I guess. So I started ballet when I was 5 years old. And so then immediately, going into the Nutcracker. And so then you're in the green rooms and there's dressing rooms and costumes. It's all sorts of craziness.
Yeah.
And then there's all the stage moms doing all like the little kids makeup, which of course that was me at the time.
Yeah.
And just getting like a kohl eyeliner that's like dull, not sharpened, just like dug into your eye.
I have PTSD from that. I can just feel that. I don't even have to physically feel it. I can mentally feel it in my head.
Just like the wood shard, like dragging. Yeah.
Oh, stop. Oh, stop.
Absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. And then, being like a little soldier in like the battle scene one year, and it's clown white all over the face. Literally like the Ben Nye clown white, just
Iconic.
Oh, totally.
Iconic.
And I mean, still in my kit, but, introduced to it, in the second grade or whatever. So I did not like these stage moms doing my makeup at all. It just was, uncomfortable. And so I just wanted to start doing it myself. My mom never wore a whole lot of makeup, so I was kind of like fending for myself there. Like nobody really in my world was like, oh yeah, I'm a really big makeup fan. Like little bits here and there, just like the basics. So then as I got older and, continued with my dance, pre-professional career, just like through high school, then we were all responsible with doing our own makeup. Trying to figure out how to put lashes on ourselves was a complete chore.
Oh God.
Complete chore. Little funny tidbit about that. We were all, required to wear lashes. Most dance studios kind of require certain things for the makeup.
Right.
So lashes was one of them. And I was so bad at putting them on myself, and none of my friends could help me because I would like put them on others. But my friends were like, oh, I don't know what to do. I can't help you. You're the one who's helping me.
Good luck.
Exactly. My lashes, luckily blessed with some long ones. So I was able to use, I think it was 5 different mascaras. Like Maybelline's, like caking them on.
You just started layering all of them on.
Layered. And then whenever we'd have to like line up and they'd be like, all right, you're good, you're good, you're good. Oh, like very nice, Hannah. Lashes look good. It's like, oh, thank God. So
I passed the test.
Yeah. So they thought I had falsies because I was layering like, Maybelline cat lash and falsies and Lord knows what, like Rocket, any of those old.
Oh my gosh. But the removal of that though.
And I wasn't doing it like the correct way.
It was just scrubbing.
Or just like get into the shower and be like, I don't know if I got it all. I guess from there then went off to like graduated. I had stopped dancing. I knew that was not going to be my future career. It just wasn't in the cards. It was just taking a toll. Dance, especially ballet, can be brutal on like the body. So
oh, I'm sure.
yeah. And I knew some of my friends that were going to go off and like major in it at college or minor. Some people were just going off to companies. Some people were teaching, and none of that was anything I was super interested in. So then ended up going off to Ball State and had no idea what I was doing.
Like most of us do.
Exactly. Like, you're a freshman and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to figure it all out there. And then you get there and you're realizing like, well, if you don't already have an idea, it's kind of hard to totally explore because you're kind of stuck in your class loads and you have to pick a major or be undecided. And then it's just kind of a big like blur. So
What was your major originally?
Excellent question. I have to think which one it was.
I've never known this, so I just need to know now.
I went in to telecommunications.
Oh, okay.
Weirdly enough.
How did you pick that?
Another excellent question. So Ball State, David Letterman went there. And so there's the Letterman building for all of like the TCOM stuff. And so, yeah, I was like, okay, perfect. I was really outing myself here on my old YouTube channel, like forever and ever ago. They're all privated now. You can't find them. Don't try. I made fan music videos. Like
you did not.
I did. I like would do hair, makeup, costuming, and it would be all through high school. I'd get all my friends involved. We'd learn the lyrics. I would have camera angles, and I would like splice and dice.
Oh my gosh, it was like a production.
It was a production.
Oh
and
my
I did
God.
like, I don't know, 15 of these or something. I was like, I'm gonna be a music video director. Like this is what I want to do. Not researching like where do you go to like college to go do music video directing, like
right.
Not Ball
Yeah.
State, no offense Ball State, but like it's not like they're known for making music video directors.
For sure.
They were known for like the Letterman building with their news department. And so then when I was like, oh, I did no research, this is not the right major for me, like I don't want to do news, I want to do music videos,
Right. Yeah.
so just decided I was going to switch up gears completely. I believe the next one after that was psychology as a major. Because,
oh my gosh, my minor's psychology.
I think I remember you telling me that like a couple weeks ago.
I never knew. Oh my God, it's so funny. Hannah and I are so similar. It's so funny.
But you actually can do math, I'm assuming, because math was not my strong suit.
No.
Well, that's why I couldn't major in it.
I failed Asians all over the world. I can't do math.
Stop. Oh, I'm losing it. Okay, well, another thing we have in common.
No, I'm very right brain on that. Like I can't. Organization is probably the only left brain quality I have. Otherwise than that, it's all right brain.
I have to sometimes Google like what's 20% of like whatever to like figure out tips at restaurants and stuff.
Oh my gosh, no, thank goodness for tip apps because that is the only way I'm calculating a tip.
And yeah, completely. If I'm supposed to do it up here, it's not happening. It's just not happening.
No, I know. It's like you're either getting way more than you're owed or you're getting way less than you're owed because I cannot do the math to figure it out.
And for me, being a former server, I'm like, oh, it's always going to be way too much because I'm going to just give you, I don't know, 50%. Here you go.
I feel like I went too low. Here's $1 extra.
Exactly. Oh, man. Oh, but okay. So
yeah,
math,
anyways, math.
Math is the reason that I could not continue with psychology because I was just not able to get a grip on it. And I've always struggled with math, you know, more art and reading and literature than math, science, all of that.
Right.
So then I had to detour one last time. I found one I thought it was a major at the time that I was like, oh, this will be perfect. I could see myself finishing a degree with this. And it was script writing, like screenplay writing. But it could only be a minor. So then I majored in creative writing, minored in screenwriting, and then shortly after I exited college. Yeah.
Okay. So wait, did you never finish then?
Never finished. I did 3 semesters.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is where makeup ties in. Promise there was a point.
We're getting there eventually.
We are. But I feel like it does kind of like set the tone because I was just kind of like totally lost there for so long and just being like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I think I'm going to be a dancer and then I'm not. And then I'm going to go do this and no, I'm not. And then changed it up a whole bunch.
Okay. But really quickly, can we talk about the fact that it's damn near impossible for 18-year-olds when you first get out of high school to be given the option to choose a major? Like, why is that expected?
Right. And it's
We're
like, this
all
is going to be your
clueless.
next like 4-year commitment.
No, I know. And you're paying thousands of dollars and Ball State's expensive. So it's like, why?
Yep. Still have those lovely student loans.
Oh, I do too. And I will be paying on mine until I'm 50 at this point in time. But they have such low interest. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm just going to let them go.
Yeah. Well, and I got lucky with some of like the forgiveness stuff, just having such a small amount left in them because they've been, paying them off for, it'll be like 10 years next year. So it's like, yeah, okay. Because, the second that you leave, the bills start coming in. Just like paying this monthly bill and for like what?
I mean, to be fair, like I have a major in public policy with a concentration in criminal justice and then a minor in psychology. So I don't use any of them. I mean, I guess psychology you could use in every aspect of your life, but
right.
Yeah, no, the math part of it, like my, it was like a statistics class in psychology. And I'm like, why?
Oh my gosh, that would have been like my nightmare, seeing that like show up and be like, this is what I need to do.
It was charts and graphs and too many lines and numbers going on. And I'm like, listen, the only lines I can draw are like, shapes, but
right. Like maybe I could do some geometry. Like that might be in a wheelhouse, but we're not getting much past
these
that.
numbers. Like I cannot.
Yeah, that's brutal. That is brutal.
Yeah, be glad you didn't get to that point.
I am. I barely made it through like a speech class. I was like, all right, yeah, no.
Public speaking though. Oh my God. I can't. Anyways. Okay. So so after your 3 semesters.
In the meantime, while I was switching up my majors, the only thing that started becoming more increasingly consistent was the fact that I kept following like tutorials from YouTube, like on myself, like in my dorm room for makeup. So
you and I got such similar starts. Oh my gosh. Because that's what I did my junior year of college. That's how I got into it, was YouTube.
Stop. Okay. See, I love this. And I feel like we're in a very like niche, like, or not niche, just a small category of people who were in that sweet spot of being like late high school, early college. YouTube was booming. There's all these tutorials. You weren't needing to go to a counter to learn anything about makeup, but you didn't necessarily like need to, I don't know, you didn't need to spend money on a school at that point, like when you were like pre-professional and just kind of like screwing around with it.
Right.
So we had all of this like internet access and YouTubers and
Mm-hmm.
people that were just putting out this informational content for us.
Yes.
So then we could just be like, oh, you're literally doing a step-by-step? I can do that.
Yeah.
And then we just started doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
I date myself with my main one who got me into it. And I'm just like, oh no, do people even know her anymore?
Hannah sent me a list of people that inspired her, and there was a couple of YouTubers on her list, and I followed the same people. And so that's why I was like, dang, I'm like, maybe we are super, I always thought that we got like a different start in life.
Yeah.
But I think it's mainly just because I guess I was under the assumption that we did, just because we purely go into 2 different fields of makeup artistry. And so I kind of just thought that we got a different start.
Yeah, like it was 2 different introductions to it.
Yeah, but we are very similar.
But it all goes back to YouTube, apparently.
I'm learning things.
Well, and it's, I don't know, I guess I never even thought about that being like the true like introduction. I always kind of thought it was like ballet, but I guess it's kind of a, combination of all of it, because if I wasn't in ballet and wasn't like,
it's the butterfly effect.
100%, 100%. Because, I was around the stage makeup and more theatrical stuff and more intense like products and learning about different brands and how to apply these. So then of course I'm going to gravitate towards that on YouTube.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Also a little side note, I went to a school that was a like ballet school. So then it was ballet or academics in the morning, ballet in the evening. And we had uniforms, but being a ballet school, they were all like kind of like casual sweats, like tracksuit, like yoga pants, those kind of things.
Yeah.
And I would always try to like fashion mine up with makeup looks and accessories that I would like follow.
My God.
Okay, I'll just find it. Michelle Phan. I would follow a Michelle Phan
Michelle
tutorial.
Phan was one of my favorites.
You remember the K-pop tutorial from
Yes.
forever ago? Oh, I sported that at school with like a chunky side bang and like a high pony, and then I got basically called out for always breaking dress code.
I was gonna ask you. I'm like, in a ballet school, they probably did not take that well.
No, just short answer, no. It's like I recall one time we were allowed to like have a dress down day for our like classes.
Okay.
So we would have like uniform leotards that we would wear, and they were typically all like black. So then, of course, whenever it's dress down, I'm like, I'm going to wear like neon teal, like some like really obnoxious color.
Oh my God.
And like borrow a leotard from somebody. I'm like, oh, I want to wear like this really cool one that you have. Just like unflattering, like not a good, like, but you're like 16, 17. You're like, this is
the shit. Like
completely.
Like I'm the shit.
Yeah. Like I look so good. And then one of my close friends to this day, she and I did each other's hair and like really poorly done French twists. Like, just they didn't work, and did like the boldest makeup, like, but terribly done, like high school level. This is like 2012 2013 makeup trends too.
Ooh, yes.
To match the neon brightly colored leotards. And then whenever our teacher came into class, he was just like, hey, we need to make sure that we're keeping in mind what's flattering to ourselves and make sure that we are presenting.
I love how that was worded.
Right. And like my friend and I are just sitting there like okay, like we look great. I know this isn't us.
It's like, but if you cannot do this, that would be great.
Right. Like, because if I am envisioning what we looked like clowns, just a little clowning, but
oh yeah,
we were kids. We're having fun. We're experimenting and finding personal style. Yeah, I believe I paired it with a statement belt on the outside of some sweatpants with like a fitted T-shirt, because I was so desperate to be, I guess, I don't know, original. It's not like that was my active thought process, but I'm like, man, I wish I could wear like jeans and like really style this. So I was just like, well, screw this. I'm just going to style it anyways. So
for sure. Yeah.
Look a hot mess, but the creativity was flowing. And then some of my former teachers, they, when I graduated, were like, she was always colorful.
I love that comment.
Not the first time I've gotten it.
No, I was like, just a real quick side note. I actually get that from my mother every so often.
Really? What?
Well, she's a very conservative person. She's a little bit older. She's in her 70s. And so she grew up in the 50s and the 60s.
Right. Different mindset.
It is totally different mindset. So she is not really a super big fan of my tattoos. And of course I have like a full ass sleeve on my arm, which she was not happy about at all. The really colorful comment from her came when I dyed my hair red for 3 straight years.
And you're like, this isn't going anywhere. It's 3 years.
I know. And it was funny because I actually had it when I graduated from college, and I took my graduation photos with that red hair. Yeah. And she goes, yeah, so I don't really want to send these out to people, so I'm just going to turn them black and white, and then we're going to send them out. So all my...
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
No.
So I just kept the colored ones for my Facebook page because I was really proud of it.
Yeah. What? Okay, so like, was it like, what degree of red are we talking? Are we like Little Mermaid, like fire truck?
Yeah, it was fire engine red. I'll have to show you a picture.
But that's gorgeous. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
but
what?
Oh no, but when I first got it done though, she goes, oh, that's really red.
That's the point. Yep.
And that was all. And then there's just a look of disdain on her face.
It's like, if you want to press the buttons, be like, yeah, didn't the stylist do a great job? Just like the reference picture.
Oh no, I knew better.
Oh yeah. Like that would have just like opened up Pandora's box.
Cause yeah, I understand. When
like,
people
colorful.
are like, yeah, that's very colorful.
It's like,
that's very red.
sometimes it's depending on the inflection, it can be a bad thing. I've had people tell me like, oh, I was gonna consider like hiring you, but your work is too colorful.
Oh my God.
At the time, I feel like I took it as just like, oh yeah, I guess I do some like bold stuff. I'm like, I can still do like natural, but
if you got that at like now, currently.
I mean, currently I feel like I'd just be like, well, this is the beauty of having so many artists out there. Like we are just not the perfect fit. And so I hope that you're able to find like your perfect fit. I believe we're still on the question of like, how'd you get started?
Hannah and I are the absolute worst. I'm so sorry.
We warned you. We warned you.
You were warned.
I had a really not super chill departure from college. I just was going through a really rough time.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I ended up leaving, and it wasn't like, I'm really like stoked about my decision. And I know I'm feeling confident taking a step. It was a very like, well, I feel like my options are limited. Like mentally, I'm doing very poorly. So like, I think I just need to go home. So that was more the move. So luckily, I come from a very creative family. My parents are musicians. My brother's a musician, and my dad has always been a big fan of like horror. So when I got home and like back in my parents' house and just kind of like, you know, back with my little brother,
figuring things out again.
Yeah, like he's 3 years younger than me, so he hadn't had the chance to like go off to like college yet. So he's still in like high school, and I'm like, hey, back again. My dad's like, hey, let's cheer you up. I've been doing some like collaborative, like fun work with this local like film kind of crew that are just like, you know, super independent, like super independent. Like, you know, it's basically just all volunteering, but it was a group of people who they knew each other for years, and then, you know, graduated high school and like, we want to make movies. My dad somehow got affiliated through his connections in like the art scene here, and he goes, hey, they're having this big shoot day at like Franke Park, and it's called Horde Day. So it's a zombie movie, and we need a horde of zombies.
Oh my gosh, that's fun.
Right? I'm like, what a dream come true, right?
Yeah.
It's the middle of May, you know, everybody's in like t-shirts and shorts, and then there's just like zombies like sprinting around.
That's amazing though.
Right? Like they had some tents because the crew had some artists that they had been working with that like worked on haunts around town, and I don't know all of the details, but I know through the film company like there was a direct connection to, I believe it was Hysterium.
Oh yeah. I've actually been to that before.
I haven't. I've heard really fun things.
They do a really good job with it.
I feel like I just keep going to the one that like the Boy Scouts run, because now I'm like just
Is that the Haunted Forest?
Yeah, like the Black Forest and Haunted Castle, Black Forest.
Okay, one of those.
It's a combo.
One or both of those, yeah.
So I was just kind of, you know, there to do my dad's makeup. He was like, please bring your shoebox. So I had like Walmart liquid latex and cream little paints, and it was this tiny little shoebox that I brought, and like had a roll of toilet paper so I could do like the latex toilet paper kind of like zombie fleshy effects.
That's going back to basic special effects.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
like,
so fun.
Well, because, you know, the YouTube days, that's what you learned, you know, you learned how to do the cotton and latex or tissue and latex, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. So then I started like, you know, doing a few other people after my dad when they were like, oh, like cool. And little side note, that's actually how I met my boyfriend, Christian. So we met that day.
I never knew that. That's fun.
There's a picture of my dad that, because Christian's a photographer, he was like, hey, like, do you mind if I take a picture of you? Because he had like interacted with my dad from like my dad's affiliation with them prior.
Oh, okay.
And so there's this picture of my dad just like kind of like collarbones up, just like a headshot of like the zombie look. And I'm in the background, like on the phone with somebody. And he still has that like on an SD card somewhere.
Oh, that's so cute.
I mean, we didn't start dating for like another 3 years after that, but that's where we met. That was the day, Horde Day. So,
oh my God.
Yeah,
amazing.
that was kind of, you know, starting point for career and like relationship, and like that was a big kind of pivotal moment, but I didn't realize it at the time.
Yeah.
So from there, I then get a job at a salon as a receptionist, because I'd been working some serving jobs, and then somebody that I worked for at one of the restaurants I worked at knew the manager at the time of this salon. And so I was like, hey, like, I'm going to let her know that you're going to send over your resume because like you're really into makeup. You're doing more of these looks on the girls for like Halloween around the restaurant and stuff. Cause I would just kind of set up shop and do little things on friends and coworkers and, you know, different effects. So people would come and be like, hey, I have a zipper. Can you like put it on my face and make it look like my face zipped open? And I'm like, yeah, why not? We have 15 minutes in a dressing room. Let's do it.
Love it.
So my manager luckily was like, hey, I'm going to like kind of push you into like more of the salon like atmosphere, because that'll be more along the lines of where you probably should be working and like getting out of the restaurant scene. And I was like, okay, yeah. Like, so I did both for a little while. Got a feel for the salon, started learning more of like the side of like beauty stuff. Then when the owner of the salon, she was like, oh, wait, like you do makeup? I was like, yeah. Little bits.
Dabble,
Yeah. So this was, if Horde Day was in like 2015-ish, that, yeah, it was definitely in 2015. Then working at the salon was like maybe 2017 or so.
Okay.
And then it was early 2017 where I got asked like, hey, can you do some prom makeup? I was like, I'm nervous, but like, okay.
Like, oh, this is different.
Yeah, completely. And I'd done like on my friends, but like it's different when it's a complete stranger. And
oh, for sure. Yeah.
in a salon.
And the pressure is a little bit more. Yeah.
You know, they're paying you. So after I, had that experience and it went positively. And fun fact, that was the very first like client I really officially ever took, and it was in tandem with a hairstylist. So I really just straight out the gate was like, oh, okay, this is hard, but we made it through. So then I felt more confident whenever they're like, oh, you're gonna have to be doing this at the same time as hair, exact same time in the hair chair, so real short, and then like hair, like the head's kind of pulling back with like curling irons and things. And first client too.
Oof. Can you like not move her for a minute? I need to glue on these lashes.
Or do like eyeliner,
mascara, anything.
Yeah.
Anything around the eyeballs.
Yeah, anything around the eyeballs, or like let's line a lip, or like clean up the tail of a brow, like, or let's not, because it's gonna go wonk.
Hairstyle's trying to stick in a bobby pin.
Or like, hey, I'm just gonna brush this out real quick. I'm like, I get it, we are all doing our jobs here, but I'm trying to be mindful of you. Like, can you not have the head be like losing it? But I mean, no, I'm like mad love for hairstylists. I get it. It's hard. But it does make our lives harder.
Well, and we just have a lot more details to do, you
Right.
know? Like it's just more of the technical kind of skills where we need our lines to be straight or we need them to be crisp.
Yeah.
Things
and like
need to be
strategic,
blended. Yeah.
where it's like, this can't go like a bit askew. Like it needs to be right on the money. Otherwise, you're then going to be dealing with lots and lots of cleanup. Time is money, so you got to be like quick with it and just figure it out, but also like not complain. Don't ruffle feathers.
Yeah.
Don't be difficult. So I was thankful that at least that was my first experience, so I didn't know that it could get like potentially easier by being like, oh, you can be in a lifted chair, you're not going to be getting your hair done, you don't need to be moving. So then after that I was like, oh,
you already did the hard experience and went through it, and so everything else you're like, oh, I got this, it's good.
Exactly.
If you guys hear barking in the background, just ignore it. We've been struggling with this, so
very happy pup.
it should be very minor if you do hear it, but we'll just keep going.
Okay, perfect.
They've been warned. Okay, go on.
Okay, so then after getting just a few more clients and parties under my belt, and then
you said you did weddings too.
Yeah, because the salon had booked like some weddings, and so then like everybody comes in, they get hair, and then they migrate back to the makeup station. So then working around cosmetologists and estheticians and massage therapists, like all of these different professionals, I was like, what do I need to do then? Like I was under the assumption like, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, like I'm going to need to do something. And so I then started the journey of trying to figure out like, okay, well, I really don't want to wax people. Like I wouldn't mind doing like facials and facial massage, but like the waxing, I'm not really interested in it. I had zero interest in hair. If I need to do some light styling, but like barely.
I know. I just do curls and that's it. I was like, I just do them for photo shoots and that's it. But I cannot do updos, can't do braids.
Yeah. I do like slick back a model's hair, like in a ponytail, in a low bun. I do ponytails and low buns. I blame the ballet because then I could whip it up on somebody really fast. There's like a flat part on like the back of my head, and ask any ballerina or former ballerina, there will be this flat part on their head where they had to put their buns because they make you put them at a specific height. So you wear down like the same part of,
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So just a little fun fact, if you meet any other dancers, specifically like ballerinas, anybody with a bun head. Oh, so yeah, I wasn't ever interested in going off to like cosmetology or aesthetic school at the time. And so then I started looking into where I could go for just makeup. And then that's where I ended up like discovering makeup first. And
Gotcha.
At the time they were located downtown Chicago, like in the Loop. And so I went and I attended their consolidated basic 1 and 2 so that I could get this certification in like the basics of makeup.
Right.
And so I went there and I did both of those courses and then became certified through the state of Illinois. And then that gave me the confidence of like, okay, now I understand. Well, even we were like briefly discussing it off camera earlier, like color theory and facial anatomy and everything, like all of those basics, and the why working on different ages, different ethnicities, doing male grooming, doing no makeup, like all of these other things that go into it outside of just like how to do like a pretty bridal look or something.
Right. Yeah.
Like they really broke it down. So then I felt super confident starting to delve into different fields. So after I got the certification, that would have been in like late summer of 2017. That's when I started more freelancing and working with that film company more and more. And then just started to grow from there. So for that kind of beginning phase, I was working at the salon, taking clients through them, taking clients personally, and then working on sets that I could find.
Yeah, for sure. So back to when you were going to the Makeup First school, you said that there was two different like programs that were looped into one. Did you say you took? Okay, so what did those two things kind of consist of? Like was some of it theory or book work and then the other part like hands-on, or was it all hands-on?
We would have like a lecture and a demo, and then kind of go over the different like classwork, if there were any handouts, things like that. So then we would also have like hands-on time all in like the same days. So we'd have like long days, we would work on each other, they would bring models in. So we worked on like mature skin, deep skin, male grooming. I know we did like specifically like Asian eyes. I didn't take the course then, but I know they also offered different programs where you'd work on people with like vitiligo and tattoo coverage and things like that.
Okay.
So you can learn how to work on literally just about anybody that could walk into your chair, your studio, on set, whatever. So they really would prep you for any curveball that could be thrown your way.
Dang, I might have to take that.
Much love to Makeup First. I did Consolidated because since it was in Chicago and I was, I believe I would have been around like 21 at the time. You know, math, I'm not going to sit here and actually calculate that. So don't let me know if I'm wrong. You know, I didn't have the funding to go and just like stay in Chicago for like the 10-week program or something.
Oh, is that how long it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's switched around because now like the school is in a different location and under different ownership. So, like
where's it now?
It's in Naperville. So it's in Chicagoland. Like, so it's just essentially west of Chicago, like 30, 45 minutes, depending on the day.
Oh, okay.
So it's
I bet that's less chaotic to get to.
much.
I can
there's
imagine being
actual
like in
parking.
the loop in Chicago. Oh gosh.
Yeah. No, I would like valet my car at a hotel and then just like walk to the school every day and just not have my car at all.
I know, but valets are so expensive though.
Yup. Back then, I don't know exactly how it worked because I knew that the only thing that I was able to do was take basic 1 and 2, but like consolidated into the 1 week of like all of that. And so they would fast track it.
Wait, how did you fit all that into 1 week?
It's a blur. It was like nonstop, like, you know, wake up to going to sleep. Like,
Oh my God.
Yeah, just
Wow.
yeah. And then I practiced on myself in my hotel room. And that was the way that people from out of town were able to at least get that basic fundamental part of the certification without needing to like blow the bank.
Okay.
So yeah, I could afford to put myself up in a hotel. I could afford the
Yeah.
classes, and then I could afford to valet, and then just like pack food and do what I needed to do to like
Oh my God.
yeah, fast track it like severely. Since I knew I couldn't take the full 10 weeks, then I had to work. I was working like 3 jobs at the time, so I just needed to do what I could.
Yeah.
But then every opportunity I had to go back to the school for any workshops, any masterclasses, like anything at all that I could make work, I went back every single time. And luckily those were a little bit like shorter, like 2 to 4 days, 5 days. So then, you know, could just like have a, you know, less stressful time.
Yeah, for sure.
Luckily now with Airbnb, I know that makes things a lot easier since you're not paying hotel rates, but that wasn't really a thing at the time.
Okay.
And then I always, you know, will keep up with my education in
Yeah, if it
all
was
other
like
ways too.
2017, I don't really think that Airbnbs were a thing.
If they were like at like their origin. So yeah, and you know, not wanting to necessarily have to go and like take the L and like haul a kit on like the subway systems and stuff. So then I wanted a hotel that was going to be convenient.
Right.
So then of course you're in the loop. Yeah, shout out Club Quarters. It was a nice hotel, but like, you know, it got a little pricey up there. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
big focal point too that they focus on is like sanitization. So
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
yeah, and I remember back then they said that any Makeup First grad, like on any professional job site, they could always tell a Makeup First grad because everybody has their Jow hand sanitizer and their like sanitizer spray. And so Like everybody is like,
I love it, yeah.
like way, like we are hygienic, we are sanitized, and
That's hilarious.
yeah. So and it's specifically like that Jow hand sanitizer. It smells so good and it doesn't dry out your hands. So we're just pumping
Amazing.
that all over the place. So very beneficial. I think that it
good.
immediately takes the fear out of things too. Whenever you are in a constructive, safe place where you can learn, you can make
Yes.
mistakes. You can have somebody that's observing you and being like, hey, let's figure this out. Like, what's going wrong? Why is it going wrong? How can we make it go right?
Right.
Like, it's makeup. Everything's fixable. Like, everything. Nothing's like a tattoo or hair color. It's not permanent.
It's makeup. You can wipe it off.
100%.
Yep.
And so I think that it gives people the freedom and then opens up, like, maybe if you were self-taught, like how we started, you know, on ourselves with YouTube.
Yeah.
We didn't have like a male model that we could just be like, okay, how would I lightly conceal you? How would I groom your eyebrows? Like, how would I go about, like, you know, tidying up facial hair? But it's just like things like that where you can only work on yourself. So then a lot of people get very comfortable, dare I say, a little kind of like some influencers where they can work on themselves really well. But then if you get somebody who has something that is quite different than what you're used to like practicing on, then you can be very like kind of out of your comfort zone and at a loss for how to handle a situation.
Yeah.
And so going to a school setting where they provide a lot of the models and, you know, information for you, it takes out that guesswork. So then you can go in way more confidently.
For sure. I 100% agree with that. And actually, that kind of leads me on to a little subcategory. There is a lot of quote unquote influencers or creators or whatever you want to call them that title themselves as makeup artists. But I don't really truly think that you are a makeup artist if you haven't been like properly or professionally trained by somebody.
100%. I agree.
It's like anybody out here is just like calling themselves a makeup artist. Just like I feel like a bunch of people are like, oh, I have a camera, I'm going to call myself a photographer.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
I feel like it happens a lot in, I'm sure a lot of fields, but I feel like a lot of artistic fields I see it in where people who aren't licensed in whatever, whether it's like nails or lashes, hair, makeup, photography, video editing, like any music, like they're like, oh, I'm a professional, fill in the blank. But then, you know, in the influencer discussion, it's, you know, do you guys take clients? Like, you know, are you actively working on this or are you able to make money off of doing your own makeup on camera and putting it out there as content for the world?
Right.
Because absolutely no disrespect. It's just they're different fields.
They are different fields. Yeah. Yeah.
I've never been one that's been good at being more of like the influencer content creator type. I'm much more behind the scenes and forget to post that I even do anything. It's hard being like the one person show, you know, where you have to market yourself. You have to make sure you're always visible online. You have to try to compete with the algorithms. And then you're actually booking, doing administration things, and then taking the jobs and working, keeping up a kit.
I know. Oh my God.
And then also having a life,
the work-life balance struggle. Oh my gosh. Yes. I was like, I briefly touched on that with Mallory and I's episode. I mean, it's like, it's crazy the amount of things that we have to keep track of that nobody really sees. I mean, we work 24/7. It's like you're working all the time. Yeah. Between content creation, between physically showing up at jobs, between restocking the kit.
Answering midnight text messages from clients.
Oh, I don't do that anymore. I have a cutoff and I'm like, oh yeah, no. I set hours for myself because even though you are texting me on my phone or Instagram messaging me, unless you are having a wedding the next day, that is the only reason I am answering you that late.
Exactly. I have like kind of mental business hours where I'm like, if it's after a certain hour, I'm going to answer this first thing in the morning. Like my alarm goes off. I already know what I'm going to say back or I have something pre-written out. Yeah. So then it's because I don't know. I don't like replying professionally after like 9 p.m. or something.
Well, and the thing is though, it's like that's also kind of setting boundaries for yourself too, which is really nice. That's good to have limits on that and good to have clients know what you expect from them too.
Yeah, maybe I should actually post my like mental business hours that I haven't actually made. Like,
yeah, I was
like, ooh, I should do that.
Yeah, I was like, mine's pretty much from like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Like I give that window usually, and I feel like that's
generous
a pretty good
window. Yeah,
it is a generous window because I mean, if you think about normal business hours, they're 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or whatever they are, and it's like we are still a business overall. You know, it's like even though we are working by ourselves and we're solopreneurs, like we're still running a business and we should still operate the same way too, just so people can't like walk all over us and
and then like a big window of time is also helpful because I don't know about you, but there's just so many different avenues that people can contact us. Even if you try to like route things into a particular, you know, like go to my website, fill out like the email inquiry, and then like try to, you know, congregate everything there. Like it doesn't always work out that way.
Right, yeah.
So then there's, you know, Instagram DMs, Facebook messages, website, texting, phone calls with voicemails, and I don't know. I feel like I've gotten some bizarre ones. And and like having a Facebook page and a Facebook profile, 2 different messages.
Yep.
Yeah. And so then things just randomly get lost, and my phone's been giving me some lovely times recently where it's been like wiping notifications, just kind of bugging out in certain ways.
Oh.
So it doesn't like make them disappear. It just takes away the notification for me. So it's like there's still like I still have new texts, but like now the notification's gone, so I don't realize I still have those new texts.
Oh my God, that's the worst.
Yeah. So it's been like, oh, cool. At least I have windows of time where I can like scramble and be like, okay, let me check all like 30 different inboxes.
You almost have to make a checklist for yourself. It's like, have I checked Facebook today? Have I checked Instagram today? Have I checked my actual text messages today? Oh my gosh. And then there's Instagram message requests.
Don't even get me started. Like
they don't ever notify you of those, and so I have to manually check those. Oh, and did you know there's actually 2 folders because there's the message requests, but then if you go into the message request, then there's the hidden requests.
Oh, okay, yes,
But those
I do
are
know
usually
that.
spam, to be fair.
Yeah, and I can typically go through, and it's all in like some different language, and there's no profile pictures.
Do you want to pay for 10,000 followers? Do you want to be my sugar baby? No.
Yeah, no, thank you. It is always the 10,000 followers and sugar baby combo.
That's what I'm saying.
Or like a jewelry ambassador. I get a lot of those.
Oh, yeah, jewelry or like clothing ambassador or something. I'm like, do I look like I am in the fashion space? Nope.
Like, what about my profile? My business profile makes a bot think like, yes, let's harass them for clothing and jewelry ambassador
never
positions.
In any of my hashtags did I include any of this, nor do I label myself like this. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I have no idea there. But yeah, no, the message requests, it's annoying. Or sometimes they don't pop up unless I open up the app. And then all of a sudden my message requests pop up.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And then please tell me how somehow I'll be on Instagram or something and a notification for a message is at the top of my page. Well, I'll go to maybe like select something else at the top of my screen and I'll accidentally open that message.
No.
And it's not like an email where you can just close it back up or something.
No, it's like they've read it now.
Yeah, and now it's like read. I'm like, okay, well now I got to respond to it. So
Yup.
there's so many times where I don't know, the timing is almost like perfect because if you think about it, I have to be pushing that exact button at that exact time that they're sending it, and then somehow those two come together.
Yup.
And they're like, boom. Now you got to read it.
Well, and then you look crazy because like then the client's like, oh, like she was literally like in the message thread.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, no, I was not stalking you. I was not waiting on your response. Like I just, and sometimes I'll be the first. I mean, I'm sure that other people do this too, but I will be the first person to admit that I do this. I will purposely ignore messages sometimes on Facebook Messenger or Instagram messaging if maybe it's like a potential client sometimes even, and I mean, I don't even have to be doing anything necessarily. Sometimes I'm just mentally exhausted and I just don't feel like responding to it.
Yeah.
And on your lock screen, you can like kind of press and hold it.
Yeah.
And read the notification before you actually open it so it won't say read or have a timestamp on it.
Yeah.
And I'll read the message and I'll like decide really quickly if I want to respond to it or not. And then sometimes I don't. But like whenever I accidentally open that Instagram message, I'm like, damn, now I can't fake like I didn't read it.
Right. Like I need to get back to this promptly. Otherwise it could get lost in the void or just like.
That's what I'm saying. And you can't flag it like emails. You can't star it.
Yeah. And you can't pin it like
and the
nothing.
Notification's gone.
Yep.
You know? And so now it's like, great. Now I look like I've ignored this person.
Right. Well, and like you said, with like just being like mentally exhausted with anything, because, you know, working 24/7, having like, you know, basically like mental business hours, but it's like kind of around the clock.
It is.
You know, and then especially when the workload actually, like I've been cleaning brushes into the middle of the night, you know, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., just like sitting there over the sink, like watching a Netflix
That's
thing.
why I was up so late last night. Yep. If you notice, my text came in at like 11:30 or something because I was up cleaning brushes.
You did better than me. I sorted them into how I'm going to clean them, and I was doing my nails.
It was from the wedding that we did last weekend. I haven't cleaned them since.
Have I? half of them ended up getting clean because I left straight from the wedding to
you
go
needed
to
the other-
Naperville.
yeah.
And luckily, somebody at the school, she was just like, I'm gonna help you clean some of these. I was like, you don't need to clean my brushes for me. And she's like, no, you're demoing. Like, stop being so self-sufficient. And I'm like,
Oh my God, that's so
I'll try.
nice.
No, so nice, so nice. And so then, but then I dirtied a whole bunch of them up with the demos. And so then it's like, there's some from the wedding, some that have been cleaned, some that are now like re-dirty. And I divide them into my powder brushes and my cream brushes. So then I'm not like in the sink trying to fight off a cream, and when like the powders come off so much easier. So I just have them divided as of now.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, I have like 2 different little containers. Anyway,
Yeah.
like my weird OCD of like
No, I love it.
a little metal thing that houses my like dirty powder brushes,
Okay.
and then like a white plastic thing, because then it's easily like wipeable for like any of the creams, like foundation, paints, mascara, liners, lip products, things like that. So then I can really like work that product out of the brush and not have to like worry about it transferring over onto any of like the fluffy like natural hair brushes.
That's really smart.
Trial and error over years.
Cool.
And it made my cleaning process faster, because then I can also sometimes, if I have like a lot of like black, like mascara, liner, black paints, if I put a black lip on anybody, like any of those products, I'll pull out the black product brushes and put those, so then I can do them very last, so then it's not going to like cast the soap like gray and like transfer that onto any of like the brighter brushes.
Yeah.
So little brush cleaning.
No,
tidbit.
That's really smart. Yeah, no. I was going to say, that's what we're here for. It's like, we're not only here to just talk about the realness of our jobs and your background, but we're also here to talk about any tips that we have and we've learned along the way too. Because I know a lot of beginner makeup artists that are like solely just beginning in their careers.
Exciting.
Follow me on YouTube.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
That is so fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah. And like, oh my God, speaking of which, I've gotten such sweet DMs recently where everybody's like, I'm so excited for your podcast and excited for everything. And I was like,
oh my gosh, that support, just being like, I am headed in the right direction. Like, you guys like it.
I know. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I was like, yes. I was like, and I have on a really cool guest. So I was like, we're good.
Oh, well, don't gas me up too hard here.
But I knew that you specifically would probably be really good as an actual speaker, though, because you're used to doing demos.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
And then actually, that's what I wanted to get into. So we're just going right in. How many people are in your classes usually that you're demoing in front of?
It's been more and more frequently, which I'm very thankful for. I love, like, it.
Did you say it was like every couple weeks that you go, or?
Well, if I like going to like Naperville, it can be like every like other month or so, but then in between I have demoed at like Rude's, like beauty school. I'm sure that anybody not local is going to be like, what are they talking about here? It's going to kind of go into like local, like actual schools, weirdly enough, because you know how like Wayne High School has New Tech Academy, or at least did. I don't know. I'm out of the
I'm not super familiar with Wayne.
So it's kind of like a school within a school that like students that had like specialized interests, and like, I don't know if they were more honor students, but there was kind of like a little internal academy within the high school. And so there's one for Columbia City High School as well. Oh, okay. And it's called Eagle Tech Academy. And I go there now once a year and demo like for their film class. Like, so it's a bunch of like high school students.
Oh, that's cool.
But then they, you know, I came up with a demo that I now do for them. I've done it a couple years now. Like little effects stuff, like out of like your mom's makeup that she'll let you borrow, or like things you can get at a drugstore, just so that they can like finalize looks for their final project, which is an actual short film. So like, you know, we discuss like how to make somebody look sweaty, how to make somebody look dirty, how to do a quick like wound or effect, like just little things that'll add believability to their films. So I'll do that. I've demoed now at where was it? Garrett Art Museum. Like did a demo that kind of was in collaboration with one of their exhibits that they had up, from this artist who works with like actual like human hair and creates like sculptures, like wig sculptures out of the hair.
Oh my gosh.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
That would be so tough too.
Yeah, and she's promoting that there's a workshop. I do not know where. It's somewhere, I want to say like West Coast. So I won't be attending, but if it was local, I would be, or even, you know, within a few hours, I'd be going. But like, I think it's like a 2-day workshop where she'll like teach you how to like work with it. 'Cause you kind of, you know, take like thin strips of like this hair, and I don't know what material you like dunk it in, but then it makes it so it's kind of like slicked and will like hold. So then you can start draping. And so she'll like weave and like contort this hair into these like really intricate sculptures.
I wonder if you could actually use like hair gel for that.
I think she's mentioned that there was like a lot of hairspray at like the
Yeah.
final end of the process.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it is like some sort of like gel hybrid.
You know that
or
like
something.
got to be glued spray
Of
or something? That's what
course.
I would think of to be able to do that.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
the freeze spray, and then the
Yeah.
got to be like ultra hold
like
gel.
like the stuff that's like really gonna like lock it in there, you know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
from the ballet days, of course. Full circle.
The buns, yes.
Oh, maybe my French twist that was terrible wouldn't have fallen out if I've been using that stuff instead of like Tresemme. Yeah, so I got to do a kind of like live, like off the top of my head kind of demo on a model where I only had an hour and I wanted to like create something that like paired with those art sculptures. So with like those are just kind of the more recent ones. It varies. It's a variety of different locations. So it'll, you know, fluctuate. And also then going out to Makeup First, it just kind of depends on like, you know, especially for the demos that we do, like those can be like, you don't need to be a student. Like it can just be like open to whoever wants to attend.
Right.
It'll depend on the day of the week, time of year, the theme of the demo. So sometimes like, you know, it could be demoing in front of like a full classroom of students of, you know, like 20, 30 people. Sometimes it can be a way more intimate setting, but that can also be really fun. Where you
Right.
have like 4 to 8 people even, where it's like
Oh.
so tiny, but then people are really able to get like a lot out of it.
Yeah, but then they're like more involved at that point in time, and it more so feels like a one-on-one thing. I have never taken a master class or anything before, which I know
Next time, like, okay.
I'm just like so busy with like
No, I
unfortunately
understand.
like social media stuff that
Yeah.
that has consumed all of my free time, and now I'm in school obviously until the end of August, so I won't be able to do anything until then.
Yeah, well, and the next one that's at like Makeup First, unfortunately, is overlapping a wedding that we're doing. So I was, because I thought of you immediately. I was like, I need to tell Julie about this. And then I was like, no. It's because, yeah, the,
So we're both gonna miss out.
exactly. So
If I ever did take a master class, I wouldn't want it to be like a huge conference room or anything.
No, you
where
don't want
somebody's
it
just,
to
like-
be.
No, it's like I want it to be, you know, more of an intimate setting. I mean, even if it's like 10 people, I still feel like that's manageable.
100%. Because out of the master classes that I've taken, my first big master class would have been at Makeup First. I went to one for his name is Roy Woolley. He's like a special effects artist. He was on Face Off, I believe season 3. And so when I attended like 2 months after I like went to Consolidated, so I was like freshly back, and there's so many students. I mean, okay, that's a bit of a reach, like maybe 25, 30, maybe something like that.
Okay.
I could be over exaggerating that a tad bit too. It's been a while. But you know, we were able to get hands on, but also, you know, he's like a little bit more spread thin, especially it was a 3-day workshop. We're making prosthetics. It was a whole big expansive process.
Yeah,
So then he's having to, I'm sure that was draining for him in a way, like having to work with all of us and all of these different projects that we were coming up with. Because we did like life casts of our face, like sculpting prosthetics off of the life casts and then creating the prosthetics. So it was like whole thing.
That's a whole process.
Yeah, I'll have to show you pictures. They're wild.
I need to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially like seeing like your face just like in stone, and you're like, that's creepy. Like your eyes are closed, and sometimes your eyelashes come off like in the plaster. Yeah, no, it's bizarre. Like I was in there with like sculpting tools, like scraping eyelashes out of like my closed eye face. Oh yeah, it's still in the studio. It's just hidden in a drawer.
That's kind of surreal almost.
It truly is, especially when you see a whole like all of the students that were taking that just like lined up on the floor, and it's like everybody's little faces.
Did you guys all take pictures next to your little sculptures?
kind of like
Because I think that would have been funny. You know, it's like sculpture, actual face.
right, like
And then
just all
line
there.
up all of them.
We should have done a proper picture like
That would
that.
have been so funny.
I remember a story that made it up on the school's like Instagram at the time was I had set my glasses like on my life cast, but they were kind of crooked, and so then all of a sudden I just saw my face with my glasses just like hanging out.
Oh my God.
I don't know what they captioned it, but it was something funny, and I was just like, "Hey, I made it."
Oh my God. That's great.
Stone version of me did. But so a master class like that where there's a lot of people, and then attended the Jordan Liberty workshop that they did in 2019, and that's who's actually
I
coming
bet
back.
that was so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's who like the wedding overlaps with.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm very thankful that I've been able to take the class the first time.
Yeah.
But there were so many students, and so the difference between something like that, where you have like rooms filled with people and one artist.
Yeah, because how large of a
The event or the school in the Loop, it was, a few different rooms of, big, like long, like stations and mirrors and things. Now the Naperville location is much more intimate. And so I much prefer it because then when I was able to take the Rochard workshop there a little over a year ago, like, maybe 10 people. But when we're working on models, we're getting hands-on, like getting that really like valuable, like priceless time with the artist.
Yeah.
That's able to look at your model, work with you, be there for like the shoot process, kind of direct it in a way.
Right.
It's incredible. And so,
I'm sure that'd be a very cool experience though. And you really do feel like you're getting that like quality time and that your money is not getting wasted.
Oh, do you know anybody who's done Mario's?
Not personally, no.
I wondered because they have like 2,000 people in like a stadium. And then it's like a screen.
My God.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry.
No, you're good. So there's actually this one makeup artist that's she lives in Alabama. And I've done a YouTube collaboration with her before. Oh. She actually took a Patrick Ta's masterclass recently.
Oh, so cool.
Yes, in collaboration with another, I don't want to get it wrong, but I believe it was like some sort of Spanish makeup artist maybe or something that I'm not really sure who the name is. I'll have to look it up afterwards. But, and that might be wrong country, so I'm so sorry. I don't want to insult anybody.
No, just taking a guess here.
Yeah, just taking a guess. But yeah, she's has a Mexican heritage herself. And so that's why I'm assuming that she knew about this person, unless I'm just really off the grid and don't know.
There's a lot of artists out there.
So there also could be that potential too. But I know that was like the main person that she went there to see because it was like in Mexico.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, because she goes back to like see her family and stuff. You were sitting in there for the conference portion of it and watching them present themselves. But then the second half, you had to bring a model, which she brought her sister because those two were really close. And
perfect.
So they were working on the model, and then the two artists would walk around and like observe you, and you could take pictures or have them sign whatever.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
The artists of that caliber.
Like, that's what I'm saying. And then she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, Patrick Todd just told me that my work look really good. She's like, I'm gonna cry.
I'm gonna like scream in the mic. I would just pass away.
I know that's how I would feel too. Like I would, oh my God. Anyways.
Yeah.
I could tell in her video that it wasn't super intimate, and there was a whole bunch of people that were in that room.
Yeah.
And it went on way longer than it should have, just because they were individually taking the time to go around with everybody, which, I mean, mind you, like, I think that's an amazing thing that they were doing to individually take the time. But I mean, there were so many people that you almost can't go around like that and individually help every single person. And it was like mostly an all day thing. I mean, they broke for lunch and the whole entire thing.
Whenever I've attended like the more hands-on workshops, like where there's like a masterclass and then a workshop.
Yes.
It's day one is the masterclass. Day one is you're watching the artist demo on 1 to 3 different models.
Yeah.
Typically, on 2 to 3, I haven't been to too many where it's just like one.
Yeah.
And then you're taking notes, you're asking questions, and then you discuss what the expectations are for day 2. And then day 2 typically is limited seating. Day 1 will have a cap at how many people can fit in the venue safely and whatever. But day 2, it's like, no, this is exclusive. This is intimate. Like you are paying more for the 2-day deal, and then like you are going to get like hands-on time with the artist. But like they don't make it so that like both days are completely open, because obviously more people are going to want to just sit in and listen to the class. And especially if it's like budgeting or anything like that, that's an option. But then not everybody is going to then carry over. So like having it be done all in one day like that, where you're doing absolutely
it seemed like a lot.
Because like I know ours have been all days where it's like we break for lunch and do that. Like if it's a break in between the demo models on the first day, and then a break between just like whenever you get 10 seconds on the second day.
Right.
To like run and go grab a sandwich from across the street or something.
Yeah.
Some people will like pack food just because it's easier to not have to think about it. I never do because I'm always out of town, or just like work through lunch, which is terrible. Don't do it, but
we need to practice what we preach, because
oh gosh, we're terrible.
It happens all the time. Like I don't eat breakfast and then I'll just go on for hours.
Typically I eat like my meal of the day is dinner. So
seriously though,
it'll be shocking today that we actually get lunch.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll start the habits now. We're not going to work through lunch. But it's just like the intimate setting all the way around will just be more beneficial. You're going to get more out of it. You're going to feel like it's always going to be worth it. I feel like any opportunity for a masterclass, if you're able to, any opportunity for education, like I'm a heavy advocate for that. Heavy advocate.
Oh yeah.
So I think all of it is worth it, but the smaller the group, the more the value is.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So it's
Totally
always going to
agree.
be worth it. And not saying like, oh, if you go and you can still meet Patrick Todd, take a picture and like, have him critique your work. It's not that that's not worth it.
No.
But like if it was a smaller group of people, not like 100 or whatever, then that would have just increased the value that much more because you could have had more time and more attention. And then his focus wouldn't necessarily be like darting from person to person.
100%.
It can be a little bit more like he can settle into it because I know that was my experience with Roshar where he was able to go around to each model and he ended up kind of taking me aside and like talking to me being like, hey, I see what you're doing and I love the direction. You need to do something different with the lips. And I'm just like, okay. And I think he saw like the wheels were spinning. And so then he was just like, look at me. Think about French fries. We're thinking about French fries right now. Do you like Wendy's? Oh. Yeah, we're dipping it in a Frosty. Yeah, isn't that good? What's your favorite flavor, chocolate or vanilla? Okay, look at the lips. And then when I looked back, it's like,
you saw something completely different.
Oh my God. And so having the ability to have that experience and like get that insight and also be like, wow, like what a trick. Let's talk about French fries and Frosties. Like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, boom, like something unlocks. And then when he like stepped back away and I started painting, he ended up even just like taking a couple pictures on his phone of like me working on my model and then was like, I'm going to DM these to you so you can see what I'm seeing and how I want this shot. And I was like, oh, my gosh. So like if this class was even double in size, that wouldn't have, because I know every single artist got to have some sort of personalized experience with him because of this.
And that's amazing.
Isn't it? Like so valuable.
Oh yeah.
I could go on about Roshar forever. Like mad love. We're both Capricorns, I learned. So
that's why we get along so well together.
Are you a Capricorn?
No, I'm a Taurus.
Yeah, it was written in the stars for us.
I didn't know if you were into astrology or not, so I was like, okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm like the most compatible with Capricorns because I've dated like 3 Capricorns.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
To be fair, they haven't worked out, but
I was gonna ask. I'm like, did you marry a Capricorn?
I married a Pisces, but I'm also compatible with Pisces too.
Pisces I feel like are pretty agreeable. Okay, now this is turning into
This is turning into an astrology lesson.
A little fun fact. I'm apparently chock full of like little fun facts about myself.
Yeah, you're good. This is about you, so it's fine.
I feel so bizarre talking about me, but like when it's little fun facts, it's like, oh, this is just kind of weird. I'm a, you know how there's like your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign?
Yes.
I'm a triple Capricorn. Like all of them are Capricorns.
Oh my God, that rarely ever happens.
Right. But then I met, and she is another artist who is like affiliated with Makeup First. She is also a triple Capricorn.
Oh.
I was like, no way. And then I met somebody who is a triple Taurus. I've never met another triple in my life of any sign. And then shortly, bizarre. Like after, I want to say it was like a week or 2, that's when I found out that she also is a triple Cap.
Interesting.
So I'm like, maybe there's something with like,
okay.
I don't know, but it's fun.
Okay, just fun fact on that. So I actually don't know any of like my signs other than just the fact that I'm a Taurus because I was adopted and I don't know my exact like time of birth.
Oh my gosh, so then it would be virtually impossible because then if you guess, it could just like shift it all.
Believe me, you have no idea how much this frustrates me.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's so frustrating.
It's been an ongoing like 30 years now that I don't know this, so it's fine.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, it's like, I don't think it really affects my life knowing that I'm a triple Capricorn. It's just more of like the icebreaker type stuff. I find that's where astrology, like it can help with like clients or it's just easy conversation.
It lets you, I think, know yourself and makes you more self-aware, I think.
Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I haven't done that portion of it. I just learned what it was.
No, but like I'm saying, if you know, like, you know, like what your rising sign is and everything, you can figure out if you have personality traits that are pitted against each other. So like that's yours fair. All aligns with each other. So you have like the perfect trifecta literally going on there. But I think I have some like another sign that works against me. Okay, this is going to be off on a tangent here for a minute, but
that's okay. That's what we're here for.
Here we go. But I have a situation where like I'm a Taurus, and Tauruses are we're earth signs. So we're supposed to be very grounded. Are Capricorns earth signs?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's like we're very grounded. We're very like based on like a routine, and we don't really like when things change, that sort of thing. But I'm actually a very spontaneous person. But I also like my routines at the same time. And so sometimes those two things fight against each other. And so I know that there is some sort of sign, maybe like an Aquarius or something random like that, that has personality traits that are 100% like against mine.
Yeah,
and
like
so,
that free flowing, like free spirit, like spontaneous. Yeah.
Or maybe a freaking Gemini. I don't know. Everybody just is like, oh, like you are a Taurus, like you're a bull, like you are very hot headed. But that's not really the true trait of a Taurus. Tauruses are very, very level headed, but we're kind of like ticking time bombs. So like we're very fine and we're even keeled almost all the time. Yeah. But that 1% is like if something just sparks up in us, or we just think about stuff for too long, it just will build and build and build, and you're just fueling a fire, and then all of a sudden it's a bomb that goes off and it's like boom, and then we just explode. And then that's like what the Tauruses are known for.
Yeah, but people take away that people don't think about the rest of it. They just think about the explosion.
Yeah, it's like, but we're really not that way. And so, that's actually true to me though. That's definitely a Taurus quality. I do match up with a lot of my qualities, but yeah. And I also match up with the fact that I'm also a foodie too.
Heck yes. Oh, yeah.
That's one of the traits. And then also the fact that Taurus is kind of like the nicer, like finer things in life.
Oh, I didn't know that one. Okay.
We're bougie. Like I will not be afraid to pay for like a good experience.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And or also spend like $200 on a really good steak too.
Oh, and then being a foodie. So then it's like,
because Ruth Chris is like one of my favorite restaurants.
I've only been once, and I got like lobster mac, which was really good, but you know, I didn't get a steak. I know, I'm terrible.
How did you go? How did you go to like one of the best steakhouses and not get a steak? I'm so confused right now.
I believe it was a birthday dinner for like someone. Maybe it was like for Christian or somebody on his side of the fam. And then I don't know, maybe I just wasn't planning ahead and then like panic ordered mac and cheese.
I love that when you're like, everybody else ordered, now it's down to me, lobster mac and cheese.
Yeah. And so it's like, I wasn't even like totally thinking, being like, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we're doing dinner. Oh, where is dinner? Oh, it's Ruth's Chris. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I've never been there. And then
like, I didn't look at the menu ahead of time. Shit.
Yeah. Which I have no excuse, because Christian always looks up the menus for everything. He is prepared when we're going to like a new spot. And so he knew what he wanted and I had no idea. So I think I maybe got a bite of his steak. So it was really good.
I always get the filet and shrimp.
Ooh, that sounds amazing.
Because it's like 2 jumbo shrimp on top of the steak. And then of course they have their plates at like, I think like 500 degrees or something.
Yeah, like something
with
crazy.
the melted butter. And it's so good.
That sounds amazing.
I always get my steaks medium rare too.
Same.
So, which is like the best.
Agreed. Yeah, it's so good. Okay, now we're just going to get hungry.
Well, look at what we're eating after this.
Right.
Oh my God.
But not steaks, I'm assuming.
No.
Yeah, we're not going to go get steaks for a lunch. Okay, we were talking about being
We were
a Taurus.
talking about like, yeah, I was like, but.
And then the quality is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm glad that we've figured out that we are compatible. That's why we get along so well together.
It makes perfect sense.
It does.
Yeah, it is funnier how the older I get and the more time goes on, because I was always like, oh, like astrology. I mean, I like it. It's super fun. Like I like being in the know with it, but I never thought that it had like a whole lot of like impact on my life. But then seeing the patterns of the people, like the signs that you do have really close relationships with and like have an easy like gravitational pull towards them in a way, and how it does kind of line up, and you're like, bizarre. Like, I don't think this is coincidental, since we all seem to have these experiences. Like, no hate, but like I don't have a whole lot of Libras in my life, or Aries. I don't know why.
I don't actually think I've met an Aries like ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. And I just like, maybe like they were previous relationships, or like just people I knew back, you know, in the day, and the friendships like maybe didn't sustain like going into adulthood, or like leaving college or anything like that. But I've had friendships that have lasted like, you know, the majority of my life. So I'm like, okay, I get along with my Scorpios, a lot of Scorpios, Taurus, Leo, Virgo. Like those I feel like are the signs that I like am super close knit with.
Okay, interesting. That's just okay. I don't know.
Sorry, that was so not makeup or anything related. But
no. It's like I could like literally just like sit here and talk about this, which is terrible because that's not what.
Okay, yeah, we got to get back on our list here.
Okay, so back onto the main topic. Sorry if you guys are not into astrology.
Right.
Anyways, yeah, so back to like your actual like demoing and everything. I kind of want to know, because you attended the Makeup First school.
Yes.
But you also now are demoing there, and
I'm their
doing
theatrical instructor too.
yes. So I guess I just want to know what shifted between you being a student to the instructor. Like, how did that work?
Oh, that's so fun. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had been keeping up with the school, obviously, since I had attended, because I wanted to go to every single masterclass, every single workshop, like as much as I could possibly do.
Yeah.
So I was like, alerts on, following them. And so then, last workshop that I'd done there was in the former like old location in downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
It was Jordan Liberty in spring, like early summer of 2019. They had booked Rochar for I believe like the following spring of 2020. So I had I had gotten my spot, I had gotten everything ready, all of this stuff.
No.
And then, of course, being like May of 2020, like it's approaching and that it's going to get canceled. There's no way around it.
Yeah, because it started in March.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you're hopeful whenever it happens in March that it's like, just give it 3 weeks. Just give it 3 weeks. Yeah. I'm a very, very anxious person, like diagnosed anxiety. That was like my actual nightmare. I was like, the world's ending. My life is over. Like I had a very visceral reaction to it.
Oh no.
And so then like all of this, but I do attribute that to being a whole different side of like growth in my artistry completely. I think without that happening, I would not be where I am. Like I hands down would not be where I'm at now.
It's crazy when you think about that sort of thing too. Again, it's like the butterfly effect, It's like if this didn't happen, then this couldn't happen.
That's when I started doing, various like ongoing projects and started up a TikTok and started just like diving hard into artistry to try to distract and like pull myself out of it.
Right.
So, pros and some heavy cons there, but that was crazy. So with that workshop getting canceled, I started getting really nervous for the school. I was like, okay, like everything is on hold right now. And a lot of places are folding because they can't operate. Like, will they be able to survive this? And wasn't really sure. I was out of the loop and just, like living 3 hours away and not really having super close relationships with anybody that was like actively there at the time. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like, oh no, like I just hope that they make it.
Yeah.
Then they started selling like, hey, we're selling like glam cores that were used as like in-class things, but like for half off because they're used. So that's where I got my glam core. And I was like, wait.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good deal.
Yeah, no, I cannot argue about that.
Oh my God.
But then I was like, wait, you're selling your stuff. Like, oh no.
And I bet you're like, oh no. The world's happening. Doom and gloom's happening.
Yeah, like
they're shutting down.
But at least I got a half off glam core. Like,
seriously though.
So, I had no idea what was going to happen. And then I started seeing that classes were going to start up again in a different location. So they had a kind of like middle ground location for a period of time on like the west side. So they were in this, kind of like this cool building out, just like it was a little bit more convenient. And, there was actually parking. I got an invitation to attend their theatrical and just like kind of meet who was going to become like the new owners so that like I could, just have a formal introduction with them. I wasn't really 100% sure of like all the details. I wasn't told much, but that's kind of how I operate. If I know it's coming from a trustworthy source and it's not going to be something dangerous or, like, for sure. Something toxic, then I'm just like, yeah, I'll be there. Like, you send me the dates, you're just like, come and just like check this out, meet the new owners, just get a feel for things. So that's when I met the new owners, Jade and Michelle, and we started getting to know each other and then hit it off. And then they were like, okay, well, we are actually going to be moving out to Naperville when we officially like take over. And so then that's how I ended up getting to be their theatrical instructor, just because they needed to kind of reformulate how they were doing some things and like take a look at what was, in the cards and doable at like, kind of not starting from scratch, but starting, smaller again. I'm really thankful that all happened. Because I love those girls and love the school. And so, and we always have a great time. Like we were just there, I was there on Monday and Tuesday, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and we were just like goofing off filming like TikTok content for the school's page. So
I saw that. Did you just post?
Like they're posting it, and
I think you shared it on your stories, and I saw that there.
Yeah. So we're just like goofing
that
off
was
and
so
just like
cute though.
Thanks. I can't say I come up with any of the ideas. I'm terrible. Like I mentioned, terrible with like coming up with content. But
oh my god, I saw it and I was like, oh my god, Hannah is on a TikTok.
Yeah,
I think the world's ending.
Seriously, though. Seriously.
But no, that's great though that you were able to connect with that school and really build that relationship too.
Oh, absolutely.
With the new owners, yeah.
It's
cool,
been
though.
very rewarding. My first students, like the first time I went out there, like I don't know about this. Like I'm so like nervous and I don't know. I don't like theatrical. I don't want to do it, but I want to finish the program. And so like I need to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so I'm the instructor that comes in and like none of you guys are happy to see me. Like it's nothing personal, but like they're all just like, well, you're gonna like make me like do stuff that I'm like scared to do. And I'm like, we're gonna make it really fun, like, and you're going to feel comfortable at the end of this. Like I'm gonna see to it that you do. And somebody who you know, might have been very like squeamish with like gore or anything if we were going into effects, and they're just like, I might need to like go to the bathroom, like I don't feel well, and it's like, it's okay, like
That's understandable.
It's very understandable
because it
like,
looks really realistic.
yeah, which is a compliment, but also can be a hindrance if you have somebody who's very squeamish.
Yeah, I get that, but I feel like maybe it's just me, but if I was personally the one creating that look, you see it in different stages and you're like, okay,
Yes.
I know in my brain that's not real, obviously, because I just sat here for hours and created this.
That's exactly what I tell them. That is exactly what I tell the students.
Like, that's how my brain will work.
When I tell them, like, I was so squeamish with like watching horror movies with my dad growing up because he's a big horror fan, and I was so like ugh, with like a lot of like the over the top, you know.
Oh yeah,
what
like
are
the
they?
Saw movies.
It's just like turns your stomach. It's over the top. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's always rewarding whenever like the student who's like that level of like, ugh, and like kind of how I felt growing up, being like, oh no, I don't know.
Right.
Like
yeah.
I feel sick. Then at the end being like, hey, like if I mix in this product to this product, would it create this like really gross effect? And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, let's do it. Like I want to see it happen
amazing.
now.
Oh.
So like hitting that, like not
the
just
transition.
comfortable, but yeah, like fully feeling confident going into it, being like, oh,
Yes.
now I'm coming up with my own ideas to make this even like more realistic or nasty
Yes.
or
Oh
something.
my gosh. I bet you just live to see those mental transformations whenever you're instructing like that too.
Hands down.
Because obviously your number one goal about being an instructor or teaching a lesson of any kind is wanting whoever you're teaching to succeed.
Absolutely. And you know, I come from teachers in my family, kind of scattered throughout the extended family, but my mom, she is a professor at PFW, classical piano.
Okay.
So she's been a professor, and then she also has been like, she teaches students like in her home studio my entire life. So I grew up listening to piano lessons like every day in the afternoons for my whole life. My dad, he just did a demo at Sweetwater the other day, and my brother has taught, and so I've been surrounded by people doing this and like just hearing how they interact and you know, then going to masterclasses and workshops, and my own experience with like a ballet school being more intimate and, you know, different, you know,
Right.
I graduated with 2 other people in my same exact graduating class.
Yeah.
So there was 3 of us. So, you know, with all of these different educational environments, it's just helped me kind of piece together the type of instructor that I want to be, and seeing the instructors who were, you know, successful with students who like were able to go off and do their thing and want to constantly come back and stay in their lives. And it's like, okay, what were the qualities that they had that made these students feel this comfortable? Like, I want to have that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
sure.
kind of my little
For sure.
history on that.
Right. So you're an instructor at that school and everything. So are you like an official employee through them, or is it more of like a freelancing kind of thing?
It's like, yeah, I'm part of their like,
Okay.
you know, like I'm one of their instructors.
So,
I'm
like
part
you
of like
get
the
paid
staff.
for it?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah. I'm like, I know it's like, cause sometimes can get like awkward to ask about even like, but yeah,
I know.
yeah. No,
I
like
was like-
I'm employed through them. Well, because no, it's a very valid question, because there's
Yeah.
a lot of times, you know, like demoing, you're doing it for free, you're doing it in trade of service. Sometimes you get paid to demo. So whenever it comes down to that, I always like my first with anything, not even just demoing, like gigs that are, you know, all the different jobs that I offer, you know, bridal's different because like there's sets rates. But if somebody approaches me for something that's a little bit looser with guidelines, first question on my mouth is like, okay, and like what kind of budget are you working with for the like makeup department?
That's
like,
a good
art
question
department?
to have. I think I've just always been very hesitant, obviously, talking about money, and it's just a very weird thing to talk about with people. Like if they don't volunteer at first, it's like, so am I gonna get paid? Like, is this a paid thing, or are we collaborating, or what's happening?
Right. Well, and I finally I'm at a point where I'm getting approached just for consistent like collaborative work and like TFP stuff, and so it's hard because I don't want to necessarily say no, but like now it's, you know, lashes are how much for a pack, even if you're getting a pro discount.
The inflation.
Exactly.
Yes,
and so even though I mean, you set the example for how people are going to treat you and how they're going to respect you in all aspects, but especially in like this industry. So not working for free, like setting these boundaries super early on is so beneficial.
Yes. So
then people aren't just assuming like, oh, well, you work for free, so we're just going to keep using you and we're going to not, you know, respect your time and your work, your kit. So I've had to turn down some, like, you know, not necessarily offers, that's not the right, but like inquiries, just being like, hey, can you do this? It's like, well, what's your budget? There is no budget. Okay, well, I'm really sorry at this current time. You know, you don't need to give a reason, but I always kind of feel a little bad. So I'm like, due to inflation and, you know, the cost of keeping a kit stock, just like TFP work is not something I'm interested in. Also, I'm 7 years into this.
Yeah, you have the experience. Like, you should get paid for your work.
And I have the portfolio. I'm not like, I think that TFP can be great when you're building a portfolio. Absolutely fantastic, especially because then you're networking with photographers, models, you're going to different locations, hairstyles, whatever. And then you can get some really beautiful pictures out of it. Right. But sometimes, you know, like it can be not what you expected. So then the quality of work might not even be something that ever goes to show on like your page.
For sure. So then you just did the work for nothing.
Yeah. So it's okay to say no to that. And, you know, expect at least some sort of compensation. And so now I pick and choose. If somebody's offering me a shoot that's more TFP in kind of nature, maybe they'll offer like gas money if it's like in Chicago, but then I'll pick like, oh, well, you're a photographer I've been wanting to work with, you're a model I've been wanting to work with. And so sometimes people then, when it's more of a genuine like, we want you, then some other form of compensation to try to help offset something will be offered up, like gas money or food or, you know, whatever,
something.
So I know it's not necessarily super solid advice, but like that's what I do. Like I kind of turned down a lot of shoots more locally because I have been trying to migrate more towards like the fashion scene out in like Chicago. So then that's where I will accept more like not totally free, but like really, really discounted work. I guess the only other thing is like, if you want to do it, do it. Yeah. Like if you have the ability and you would like to do it, do it. Like I admitted out loud what I was paid for a certain job. And like, don't get me wrong, absolutely one of my favorite jobs, but the day rate was, you know, all that they could do at the time. And it wasn't because they didn't want to offer more. It's because that's all they could offer. And I was like, I want to do this so bad. I'm taking it. I'm so taking
I've
it.
accepted jobs like that too.
And absolutely just no regrets.
Mine was more so to get the experience of it.
There's passion behind it, go for it. But if it's something that you're like, I don't really know. And then they're being like, well, here's $20. Then it's like, you can say no to that. Like there will be fresh out of like Cosmo School or somebody who is going to need that job and want it if you don't.
Right.
Because some of the ones that I've turned down recently, I'm seeing like, so there's some others that are like fresh graduates that are, you know, picking up the gauntlet. And I'm like, this is perfect. This is perfect for you guys.
Like, that's good for you. Yeah.
Because this is something that I am no longer needing. So you can just like, you know, it's all about collaboration, not competition. So just like spread it out, give other people the opportunities if it's something you're really not interested in.
For sure. I love that. Yeah.
All right.
It's all about community.
That's how we started this, I think.
That is how, I was like, we're coming full circle.
It's a beautiful part.
It is a beautiful part. Yeah. Okay.
Now the awkward, I don't know how to ever end anything.
Okay, well, anyways, that is the first episode with Hannah, guys. If you're watching on Apple Podcast or Spotify, I believe that there is a rating button. I think that's how it works on podcast.
Oh, nice.
Still delving into that, so give me a 5-star rating.
Please.
Yes, please. And add it to your favorites so you guys will get notified of each and every podcast episode. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, obviously don't forget to, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much for joining me for this one.
Oh, always. Thanks for having me.
Bye, guys.
Bye.